to me, and I've got all these menu options now. Something that I call out in the slides is the keyboard shortcut to get to the Visual Basic Editor. So if I were to click on this tab, it would bring up Visual Basic Editor. I can also press Alt F11. Whoa. Really? I guess I haven't done it on this keyboard. I've been using the desktop keyboard. It's going to be Alt Function F11 then. I don't like that as much. That's okay. I could put my function on. There we go. All right. So this is the other way that you can get into the Visual Basic Editor. In the slides, it goes through a few things in here. I'll make sure you guys stop me if you have questions about this. But this is the stuff that that I wanted you guys to see before we got to class. I want to get through this stuff quickly so that you guys can ask me questions about the stuff towards the end. I pressed Alt F11 to get into the Visual Basic Editor. You can also do it through the menu. Once I'm in here, I'm going to want to insert a module. It goes through and talks about the different windows in the editor. We're going to use a few of these extensively. So the Project Explorer is going to be on the left side of the default layout. I use the Project Explorer a fair amount. I use the code window the most. That's where we're going to write all of our code. Some of these other things I'm going to hide initially. We'll get into using some of these other windows a little bit later in the class. So this Project Explorer, this is going to list any Excel workbook that you have open. And then inside of that, it lists multiple parts in there. And so there's different objects. So any of your worksheets are going to be listed under the objects that it's got over there. You can see what it has there. Book 1 has sheet 1, 2, and 3, as well as this workbook is listed. That doesn't have any modules yet, but we can insert a module, and so I'm going to do that now in the workbook that I have open. So there's a few different ways I show you guys to do this. The way that I do it most often is to go to Insert and say Module, and or right-clicking will work as well. So here I've got my Excel window and my Visual Basic Editor window. So if I'm in Book 1 and I want to insert a module, I can go to Insert and say Module. I can also right-click on. All right, I got it. I have to find a setting that doesn't automatically change. Okay. I can right-click on Book 1 as well and say Insert a module. So those are different ways that I do it sometimes. Once I insert a module, now you'll see in my Project Explorer that I got underneath my Book 1 project, I've got my Microsoft Excel objects, which has my sheets, and I've also got modules. Right? So now I've got module 1 as the default name for this that got inserted into my project. I've got a few things that I want to call out. I've got information in here. I'm not going to go over in class about the properties window, the code window. We're going to spend a lot of our time in the code window. These other windows here, I said we'll get to using them a little bit later in class. So in our code window, we're gonna that's where we're gonna write our VBA. And inside here, I want to call out that we can write VBA code for multiple Microsoft Office applications. I have really only done it with Excel because that's what I spend a lot of my time in, but you can also write macros and do specific things in Word and PowerPoint, other Office applications. So something that this leads me to talking about here is our object model within Excel. So each different application has a different object model. So in Microsoft Word, the types of things that are objects, as far as it's concerned, are documents and paragraphs and words. In Excel, we have a different object model where our objects inside of Excel are workbooks and worksheets or cells and ranges of cells. Charts and shapes are also objects, right? So this is objects that we're going to be working with inside Excel with our VBA code. So there is this hierarchy that orders how things work inside of Excel. So if you think about this object hierarchy, if you have a workbook, it contains worksheets. Or if you have a worksheet, it contains ranges. If you have a range, it contains cells, right? So this is something that we're going to start using in VBA. So I want to call these out. We're going to learn about properties and methods of our different Microsoft Excel objects, right? So different objects are going to have different properties and methods that we can use to do things to them. All right, I will call this out because it affects how we can access them. Properties and methods are slightly different, and so the way that I think about these are that properties are things that are physical characteristics, and methods are things that are more like actions.